Hello Internet and welcome to this Dxracer rant video. This is my experience, you could say, over the last 6 months with using Dxracer and buying from Dxracer, and my experience with this goddamn chair that I'm sitting on right now. So if you've come here expecting a review of a chair with lots of nice crispy B-roll and nice transitions and so lovely and so colour corrected, you're not going to get that here, I'm afraid. It's not going to be a review of the chair. The chair that I've bought, though, is the Dxracer King Series chair. It is, I'll show you the model on screen right now, but it is it should represent the epitome of their manufacturing prowess. The best they can do. They're the pinnacle of their engineering achievements. This should be the best in the Dxracer lineup, or at least it was 6 months ago anyway. It's the King Series chair. So, my journey started 6 months ago in January 2016. I did what you did, what you're doing right now. I went on the internet and I looked for YouTube videos on, because I'm a YouTuber myself and I don't watch TV, I watch YouTube. That's pretty much how I spend my life. So I went out looking for people's opinions, reviews, samples, anything I could find on Dxracer. And I narrowed it down. And I wanted a chair for the office, and I narrowed it down to two options, Dxracer and Maxnomic, the Need for Seat range. And there wasn't a lot of information out there on Maxnomic other than what, Linus Tech Tips kit their office out with Need for Seat Maxnomic chairs, which doesn't really mean much, it just means they were free. So I went for Dxracer. And most of the videos that were available at the time in January 2016 were, they kind of fell into two categories. You had big YouTubers, medium to big sized gaming YouTubers who had been sent a chair for free by Dxracer, and that's fine, that's standard practice. But I can't take their opinions seriously. Now, no bad words or disrespect for any in particular YouTuber, it just means that I cannot take what they've got to say about the chair seriously. They didn't buy the chair with their money, therefore they're not going to critique and review the chair in the way that I would want to or that I would. So that doesn't really mean a lot to me if someone gets sent something for free and they're giving me their opinion on it. The second type of video was smaller, very, very small YouTubers, people who are trying to get started. And they probably, I did find a couple of YouTubers who were very small, but had managed to somehow wangle a free chair. And it was clear that they were just trying to, brown-nose Dxracer by saying, thank. It wasn't necessarily a review video, more of a thank you Dxracer for my free chair video message. So there was that type. But then the other one was small YouTubers who had bought their own chair. And still, I couldn't take their opinions seriously because they were, you could tell they were trying to be enthusiastic about the chair. They were being overly enthusiastic about it, emphasizing how comfortable it is, how comfortable my chair is for those long gaming sessions that I'm going to theoretically have because I've got nothing else to do with my life. I'm going to have so many gaming sessions in this chair and it's going to make all the difference. I'm going to be more responsive, more comfortable in my gaming chair. Bollocks. Absolute fucking bollocks. So there was those guys, and I couldn't take them seriously. It was like, why would you want to badmouth Dxracer? You're trying to, so you've obviously bought the chair yourself. It's a lot of money. You'd rather you didn't have to do that again. So badmouthing a company that could send you something for free is not in your best interest. And so you know how it goes. So there wasn't a lot of credible reviews out there that I could find. There was a couple, but not a lot. So, this video is taken from the perspective of somebody who has bought the chair myself, and I'm extremely fussy about quality, like really fussy. If I buy something at a certain price point, I expect it to come made and built to the price point that it's being pitched at. And Dxracer do say on their website, I'm going to refer back to this quite a lot, because this sets the tone for their product range and your expectations. Dxracer say that their chairs are manufactured to the highest standards of quality, not just a little bit, not just nearly the highest standards of quality, not we're trying our hardest, this is our mission statement. It's a sign on the shop floor in neon, it's carpeted up to this sign in neon, it's got a nice little marquee around it and little booth babes wafting fans of this sign saying we make things to the highest standard, motivational messaging. No, this means that they are currently, in 2016, Dxracer are saying that they are right this second building to the highest standards of quality. It is being done. There is nothing they can do or anybody can do to make something at a better standard of quality at what they're pushing out right now. That's what they're saying. So I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. So I placed my order for this chair in January 2016. So 2 or 3 weeks later, it comes in the post. That's fine. 2 or 3 weeks later, it's fine. It came from Sweden. In Europe, I'm in the UK. It's got to go on a boat. It's got to go over the water, blah, 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 whatever. So it comes in a lovely box, huge box, massive box, nicely Dxracer box, logo, all around it, branding. So you open it up and it's all nice and packaged. It's styrofoam and it's Dxracer bags and you're pulling it out and it's magnificent. And then you build it. And you build a chair. And it's a nice, simple building experience. 10 minutes max, I'd say, for anyone competent with an Allen key. And then you sit on it. And you're like, yes, I like this chair. This is a Throne. It's carbon fibre. It's all glistening. It's all leather, and it's all yes. It doesn't squeak. It's silent. And you're like, yes, I like this chair. This is going to serve me well for those mythical hours of gaming that I'm going to not have. And then you stand back and you look at the chair and you start to inspect it. The novelty's kind of wore off by this point. You're like, yes, I'm impressed with my purchase. I'm proud of my purchase. And then you look at it a little bit more closely and you realise that the stitching on the bottom wings of the base of the unit on the chair completely wonky. The piping on either side of the base where you sit on is completely cockeyed and unsymmetrical. Yeah, so that sort of deflates you a little bit. So you're looking at it, you're thinking, is that me? Am I looking at it from like the wrong angle? Do I need to just push it? Nope, it doesn't move. It doesn't budge at all. The stitching is completely cockeyed. So you can see it on the picture that I'm showing on screen right now. So what do you do next then? What do you do next? Well, you get in touch with Dxracer support to ask about what can be done about this. So I got in touch with Dxracer Europe, which is the branch that I bought the chair through. Obviously, Dxracer Europe is the contact for anyone in Europe. And we got off on the wrong foot, did me and Dxracer Europe? We did. We got off on completely the wrong foot. But it's worth noting at this point, I'm not bad-mouthing Dxracer Europe as a supplier. They're absolutely fine. In fact, I'm more than happy with the service that I've got from the guy in the contact that I've been speaking to over the last 6 months. We just got off on the wrong foot. And Dxracer Europe don't make the chairs locally. They source them in, obviously, and resell the boxes. They're just box shifters, like a distributor. So I sent an email to Dxracer Europe with a picture, the one that I'm showing on screen, a picture of the chair being obviously clearly defective. And I say it's a manufacturing defect. The stitching's wonky. I kind of work in manufacturing myself. This happens. I know it happens. Can we just get a replacement sent out or something? What can we do about this? And his response, it was a little bit surprising to say the least. His response was words to the effect of, yes, I see the issue you're having there, sir. I see the issue you're having. Give it a while. The leather, which is PU leather, will correct itself over time. So give it a little while and it'll fix itself. I'm like, I'm sorry. Where's the 13-year-old that you're talking to? What? Are you saying, really, that you've sold me a self-healing chair? Like an avatar with a tail that sticks it into a tree and it'll start self-healing itself? Bore off, man. Bullshit. It's a fucking stitching issue. I mean, I'm not a leather expert by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of common knowledge that leather has got, like, it can correct surface defects over time. But this isn't a surface defect. This is a structural issue. It's stitching, piping. Fuck off with that bullshit. I'm not 13. Don't try and pie me off with that shit. No. So obviously I was a little bit sarcastic, a little bit patronising and rude back to him because that's what I felt was coming towards me. A bit of patronising and a bit of just sort of, it was insulting to my intelligence somewhat. And after that point, I think he kind of realised, right, I'm not dealing with someone that I can just fuck off here. So he sort of pulled himself together at that point, and it was fine from that point onwards. So that was getting off on the wrong foot, and from that point onwards, we were fine. So he agreed to send out a replacement base, which is the padded bit at the bottom with the wings on and the armrests. Not the hydraulic cylinder, the hydraulic cylinder separate. That's a separate part. So it's just a base unit. So another thing that was broken with the seat that was sent was the chair has got like plastic elbows on the arms of the chair, like little covers. They're just like little hollow plastic covers. They were smashed, so I said to him they're broken as well, so it came kind of damaged as well. So he said, right, okay, well we'll put some new elbows in the replacement base and we'll send it out to you. Fine. 2 or 3 weeks later, the replacement base comes in a box that looked like it was delivered by Ace Ventura, drop kicking it down a corridor. It was beat up to shit. Like, fuck, it was destroyed, this box. I was like, fine, okay, it's been, it's been handled by multiple couriers, it's been put in a boat, blah, blah, blah. So I open it up, And inside, the replacement plastic elbows were completely disintegrated. Like, not even just cracked. They were in hundreds of pieces inside the box. And you could see in the box that the box had been kicked about, and it had been dropped from a height. There was impact points at the bottom of the box where the elbows had been sort of just completely smashed against things on multiple occasions. So that wasn't happy with that at all. There was no wrapping. There was no sort of decent foam padding inside the box at all. I'm like, fine, right, I don't care. As long as the stitching's fine, I don't care. As long as there's nothing wrong with it. So I pull the base out, the second base out. Look at the stitching. Stitching's absolutely fine. And then my eyes just glance towards the front of the chair, and there's a fucking what looks like a knife wound in the front of the base unit. And I'll show you that on the screen right now. So it's approximately 3 centimeters long. It's not a knife, but it's something sharp has penetrated through the box, through the bag that it was protected by, and then into the chair. So I don't know whether, I mean, who knows? This could have happened in shipping. It could have happened in the warehouse before it was shipped. I don't know, and Dxracer support don't know either. It's a mystery either way. It's come with a fucking hole in it. I can't accept that, obviously. I'm not spending this much money for a chair that's got a fucking hole in it. So, no, not having that. So I get back in touch with him. He's fine. He's like, yeah, that's really bad luck. Sorry, I don't know when this could have happened. So we agreed to get a third base unit sent out. So we're on with third replacement. Well, we're second replacement, but in total we're third item being sent from Dxracer. So another few weeks go by. So now we're into kind of March now. I bought the chair in January. We're now into March. So and all this while, don't get me wrong, I can use the chair. There's nothing wrong with the chair itself. I can sit on it. It's just not right. And all the time whilst this is going on, it's like there's something unfinished that's happening in your life. You just want it out the way and it's done. It's something which you're having to continuously think about, and right, that's something on a list that needs sorted out. I don't like that. I just want it out the way and done. So we're into March. The third base unit comes. Again, it comes in another fucking beat up box. Completely kicked about, smashed about. Same kind of thing. It's a little bit better padded, but it's still got smashed elbows, obviously. The elbows are completely smashed. And I pull the third base unit out of the box. And that one has got the exact same stitching issue as the first base unit. Except it's just flipped around. It's now the other side, which is completely wonky. At this point, I am absolutely fucking raging. Absolutely raging. 2 replacement parts, and we're still kind of get this right. One of them's got a hole in it. The other 2 have got faulty stitching. And you start to think to yourself, right, is this bad luck? Is this really bad luck? Or are these chairs actually not built as well as you perceive them to be at something at this price point? The price point sets expectations. If you spend 130 grand on a brand new car, you expect it to have been built to a different standard or a higher standard to a car that was built at a price point of 20 grand. It's just expectations and common sense. And this is not kind of going on with this chair. So I get back in touch with him. And at this point, I couldn't figure out whether he's kind of looking at me and thinking he's just picky. But if you look at the pictures, the stitching is clearly unacceptably wonky. You would not want that on a chair that you've paid this much money for. And I'm not going to accept it. When I've bought it with my money, I want it to be perfect. I plan on keeping this for a long time. I'm not having that, especially given that you guys claim to make things at the highest standards of quality. This is by far this is a mile away from the highest standards of quality. This is completely unacceptably wonky. And it's not just the piping either. The patterns on the base unit don't line up. Where the stitching sort of meets edges of seams, they're terminating at different points. It's like someone's hand, maybe it is handmade, but whoever's handmade it's just not lined it up properly. It's not the best. Not the best at all. Not acceptable. So I got back in touch with him. And I'm like, this is bullshit, right? This needs to stop. This is absolutely fucking unacceptable. I'm not having this anymore. Give me a fucking new chair. By this point, I am considering just getting a refund on the chair. Just fucking sacking this off. I'm sick of this now. We're in the middle of March. I just want my chair done, right? And clearly you guys can't provide a chair it's fit for purpose and that's in a good quality. I'm considering it. But I like the chair, right? I like the chair. I don't want another chair. I like the look of this chair, and it is comfortable. So they give me the option of going for a new chair, and they offer me the chance of picking a different model. So I look at the website. I'm looking at all the different chairs Dxracer offer. They're a bit in your face for my liking. Some of them are all neon green and bright yellow, and they've got Call of Duty fucking logos on the back of them. And I'm like, why would I buy a chair with a game on the back of it that's going to be obsolete in a year's time? You know what I mean? No. I'll just give me the same chair. I like the chair. The reason why I bought this chair was because it's subtle. It's nice black carbon fiber. It's a neutral color scheme, but it's got a red accent in the Dxracer logo and on the cushion. I like that. I've got a red themed office. It just subtly goes together. It's not too in your face, but there's a match there. So I'm not locked into a color scheme, but it looks decent. I like it. That's why I picked this one. So I looked at all the other chairs and I said to him very clearly, just send me the same one. Just give me the same one. I like the look of this chair. This is why I picked it. X, Y, and Z reasons. Just send me the same chair again. So he's like, okay, fine, right. As long as we've got it in stock, I'll send you the same chair. So a long time went by but that was partly my fault, but partly not as well, because I had to source a box to put the chair in to send back to Dxracer, and then when they received the chair or received confirmation that I've shipped my chair back to them, they would send me the new one. And I had to pay 20 quid to get a custom box made from a box manufacturer to get a box big enough to fit the chair in. I wasn't happy with that, but by this point I'm like, I'm fucking sick of this now. I just want this over and done with. So we're now into kind of May, June time. And the chair gets put into the box. I ship it, send it back. And they get confirmation of that. And then they send me the replacement chair. That comes sort of mid-June. We're now 5 or 6 months now down the line from when I bought the chair. And I still don't have a chair, right? There is now a period of time where I just don't have a Dxracer chair in my office. So the new chair comes in the post. We're now into sort of the start of July. It takes a few weeks to come. And I'm driving back from a client site and I'm all excited. And it's like, yeah, my new chair's here, finally. We can get this out of the way. Just new start from scratch. So I get home. I open up the box. I'm all happy and excited. And yes, it's all over again. I'm doing it all over again. I'm opening up this brand new chair for the second time. This is a lovely experience. Then I pull out the backrest and I realise they've sent the wrong fucking chair. They've sent the wrong chair. The chair they've sent me doesn't have any colour in it at all. The red accent in the Dxracer logo is completely missing. This is not the same chair. It's a different model. So, what do you do at this point? What would you do at this point? You know, 5 or 6 months down the line, you've had 3 chairs so far which have either got a hole in them or faulty stitching, and then you get a complete replacement chair sent, and then they send you the wrong one. I don't think I'm being unreasonable by doing a Dxracer rant video, but it gets better. There's more. There is more. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, right, I am fucking sick of this chair. I'm just going to build it. I'm going to build it. As long as the stitching's fine, as long as it's not structurally defective, it's just a bit of thread. Does it matter at the end of the day? Yes, because it's not the chair that I bought, but no, I can still use the chair. I can still sit in it and do some work. But it's not the one that I ordered, therefore they are going to fix it. They are going to send me a replacement backrest again. So I get the chair all set up. I email the guy with pictures of the headrest that I've shown you on screen right now, and I said, look, this is not the chair that I ordered. And he replies back with, it is the chair that you ordered. However, in the time where you placed your original order in January, and now Dxracer have up-issued the product range and changed the design. I'm like, motherfucker, did you not think it was worth mentioning that when I asked you to send me the same fucking chair? This is somebody who's received 2 fucking faulty base units. One of them's got a knife wound in it. I'm 6 months down the line and I'm not happy with a chair, and you don't think it's relevant to tell me that the next one that you're sending me isn't the same one as I originally ordered. That wasn't worth mentioning. Holy shit, I am losing my mind with these people. And he's like, well, it's not, oh, yeah. And even to this day, I shit you not, to this day, as I am speaking to you right now, it is a month It is nearly it's a month since I received this chair here, right? And their website still shows the original design. It does not show you the one that you... So if you order this chair that you see on screen right now, you're not going to get that chair that you see right now. You're going to get one without a red accent in the logo. And you can bet your fucking bollocks to a barn dance. Every single person that orders this chair is doing it because it's black, carbon fiber, and it has a red accent in the logo. That is why they are buying it. If they've got a green office or a blue office or a fucking yellow office, they're probably not picking a chair that's got a red accent in the logo. They're probably going to go for something of a different colour scheme. So I thought, what the fuck are you playing at? What are you playing at? Anyway, I thought, do you know what? Just send. I don't care what you've got to do. I don't care what hoops and hurdles you've got to jump over and through. Just get me a backrest with a red accent in the logo. That's what I ordered. Get me one. At this point, I think I've got the right to be a little bit fucking pushy, a little bit demanding. Get me a fucking backrest with a red accent in the logo, and let's just get on with our lives. So he's like, right, I'll go through and I'll find some stock and blah, 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 blah. So, but at this point, I started building the chair and I'm like, I need a chair in my office. I build the chair, put it all together. I've done a couple of videos on my channel right now. You can see the chair without the red accent in it. It's just all white. It's to me, it is visibly noticeable that that's not there. But anyway, so I build it, I put it all together, and I turn the chair around. I shit you not, there's a fucking knife wound in the backrest of the new chair that they sent me. You can see that on screen right now. There is a fucking slit in the leather all the way through the fabric. Right, so I have had, in summary, 4 different items from Dxracer stock over the course of nearly 7 months. 4 items picked at spaced intervals out of their stock over 6 or 7 months, and they've all been defective and faulty. Statistically, I'd say it was reasonable to say that the majority of stock coming out of Dxracer or being manufactured by Dxracer is in some way faulty and or defective. I think it's reasonable to say that. I can't prove it at all. But given that I've had 4 items over 6 months that have all been faulty, it's a safe bet that most of them are. And that's why that's casted even more doubt over these other reviews on YouTube, because those people receiving their free chairs, they probably have defective items. They probably have dodgy stitching or little holes in it somewhere, but they either A, don't give a shit because the chair's free and they don't want to badmouth Dxracer, or they just haven't noticed because they're not looking to critique it because they didn't pay for it with their own money. They don't have that same value. They don't look at it in the same way as somebody who has paid a lot of money for it and owns it themselves. So what do you do? So finally, I mean, we're at 23 minutes now, so I need to wrap this up. Finally, the guy sent me a replacement backrest. He managed to find one in stock. It's still not the same fucking backrest though. I don't care. At this point, I couldn't give a flying fuck in a high wind how much red is in the logo. But this part of the logo here is red. On the image on the website, it's white. Where's the consistency, Dxracer? You're building stuff here to the highest standards of quality, don't forget. Where's the consistency? You can't show a picture of a chair on your website and send somebody something completely different. Even if it's subtle like that, it shows a clear lack of professionalism and organisation. You need to represent yourself as a professional company if you're charging for something at this price point, and that is not happening. To me, right, I'm going to say something a little bit controversial now and probably a bit unreasonable, but in my perception, I see Dxracer, my perceptions of Dxracer are that they are a very small company with good intentions, but they are pitching a product at a price point that they can't meet the expectations for. They don't have the staff with the skills to be able to manufacture and build something to that level of quality. They don't have the distribution staff. They don't have the facilities. They don't have the machinery. They don't have the tools. They don't have the back staff to be able to cope with the demand and the quality of what people expect at something at this price point. I think they're just punching way above their league. They're pushing out a product at a price point, hoping that it sells based on its appearance. But everything behind it is not acceptable. The two base units that I received, or sorry, the three base units that I first received, one of them had a hole in it, the other two had faulty stitching. The replacement chair that I had, that I received without colour on it, the backrest, I'll show you a picture now, the two wings on either side, the stitching was completely uneven on these wings. So the piping on one side was visibly sort of curled in, whereas on the other side it was sort of poking out. And then that caused an uneven balance in the surface material, which started to sag in places. So it was visibly saggy patches of leather on the chair. This one here has, it's fine. There's no piping issue. So again, it's just a different, when you're manufacturing something at the highest standards of quality, everything should be identical, as identical as possible. Everything should be consistently good quality. If you're making something to the highest standards of quality, there is nothing higher. That's what it happens. Everything comes out fine. This one here is fine. There's no piping issues, but there are patches where there's sort of weird lumps in the leather. They're sort of weird. You can feel, it's almost like ball bearings that you can feel, and you can see the profile of those ball bearings through the leather. But I'm fine. At this point, I couldn't give a shit. I'm happy with what I've got. As it turns out, this is probably a salvaged backrest, considering they don't make this anymore. So after 7 months and all the issues, I've ended up with a chair that's secondhand. But all through the process, at least the guy at Dxracer has been supportive, and I've been getting the help pretty quickly. There was a time where that sort of did waver a little bit during the process, where after the third unit, and I said to the guy, send me a fucking new chair. Just send me a new chair, but what I did say to him is, I want you to thoroughly inspect it before you send it out. At this point, I do not want to receive another unit with a hole in it, or with dodgy stitching, or any kind of smashed plastic elbows. Thoroughly inspect it before you send it out, and make sure I don't get anything in the mail that I'm going to have a problem with. Clearly, I've had problems. Make sure you thoroughly inspect it. And then he sent me a chair that wasn't the one I ordered, with a hole in it. Is this what you expect? If anyone from Dxracer is watching this, I'm trying to still be, I'm trying to not be overly insulting, rude, and abusive towards you as a company. However, you guys have a lot to improve. You have a lot to improve. You need to take statements like this off your website if you want to be taken seriously. You can't put something like that on your website because it's not true. I think it is. I've got every right to say that based on my experience, which is all provable. It's all documented. I've got evidence for everything that's happened. I think I have the right to say that that statement is not true. So that's my experience with Dxracer. It's gone on for quite some time now, so I'm going to wrap this up now. Just wanted to give some balance to anybody that's looking to buy a chair. Just be careful. I've looked at a lot of other videos now since I've received my chair. I've looked at other people's reviews, and I can spot defects on their chairs. In fact, I'm going to show you one now. I'm going to show you something that I spotted on a guy who didn't mention it at all in the video, but I can see defects on other chairs. People just aren't mentioning that. So just be careful when you're buying a chair from Dxracer. If you receive it and it's got faulty stitching, get it replaced or go elsewhere. I've finally got a chair that's not defective, but it's taken a lot of hassle. I've had to take days off work to be in the house to collect deliveries. I've had to go and source boxes to ship things back to them. I've had boxes stacked up in the house, base units lying around. It's been an ordeal, to say the least, but we got there in the end, and I've got a second-hand chair. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks very much for watching this all the way through. Subscribe if you're new here. Drop a like on the video if this was useful to you and you think this was useful information. Anyone wants to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the video description down below. If anyone is a regular and wants to support the channel directly, you can do that. And I'll see you in the next video. Toodles!